After. I'll tell you.
Welcome everyone to this meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of December 18th, 2024. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the November 20th, 2024 board meeting. Thank you, Peter. Is there a second? Thank you, Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Come to the part of our agenda where we have a public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the Industrial Development Agency, please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes if you will. Don't speak to the visitors. We'll call this public comment session to a close. Looking good, right, Dan?
Got it.
Executive Director's report. Stacy, updates, please.
Thank you. A few things to report on before year end, which is hard to believe. We are, of course, working on year end financials, but I am pleased to report we've closed the Regan Development Project as well as the BV properties, which is also town and country properties in the city of Binghamton, and are working towards the closing of the Raymond Corporation project as well as the Nikon redevelopment project in the village of Johnson City. One unfortunate news on a current project in our pool is we are working on documents to terminate and recapture benefits related to Shenango Empire, which is a student housing project in the city of Binghamton. We have been working to make contact. We've enlisted the mayor's office to assist. They have outstanding pilot payments due, so we are terminating benefit and beginning the process of recapturing.
Stacy, is that the Perry building? Yeah.
It's the print house.
Oh,
The
okay,
press
the press building.
It's our understanding that they are in a mortgage, or in a mortgage foreclosure process. So working diligently to make all of the taxing entities whole in that regard. We did, I want to give a lot of credit to Amy Williamson here. Over the last 6 to 8 weeks, our lives have been consumed by a very, very exciting opportunity. But we've submitted our grant application for the Southern Tier On-Ramp. Well, our Southern Tier On-Ramp. On-Ramp is another state acronym for One Network of Regional Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships. That means is if we are awarded, there are 6 regions eligible, only 5 applications went in, is our understanding. 3 will be awarded. This would allow us to potentially construct a regional workforce training facility. It's somewhere in the Southern Tier. We have landed on a model that would make Greater Binghamton a hub for such a facility with spokes in the Elmira, Corning, Ithaca, and Delhi areas. This would be a really exciting regional collaboration led by our office as lead applicant to address the immediate in-demand job skills that our manufacturers have openings for right now. So we submitted that. We did an interview with the selection team last Friday, and it is our expectation we should know sometime after the new year. So our fingers are crossed. We began work with 600 Main, the team, to work on the 600 Main Street project that is in the town of Union. As you recall, we have $11 million in FAST award funds from New York State to redevelop, to essentially elevate that portion of that site out of the floodplain. We've selected the team of EDR, Ramble, and LaChase. We had our kickoff meeting on that, so we expect hopefully by spring we can actually do some visible work on looking at making that a truly shovel-ready pad for development. Just very quickly, some updates on the proposed Broome Tech Park. We are continuing our schedule of study. We've had a lot of activity with regard to finalizing our generic environmental impact study. I think today we had a cultural group doing the archaeological review. We've had engineers doing traffic. We've had, what else? We're having noise, air, and visual. All of those studies are underway over the next several weeks. It is our expectation now to have a draft final GEIS to the board for review sometime And everything's subject, I think sometime in, March, February or March, most likely March. Making sure we're aligning with our required dates, of course, our team's leading that effort. And so, yep, continuing to move forward with that. An important part of this study is looking at the power capacity ultimately for that area. We are getting ready to begin an ISO study. The ISO is the independent system operator who basically it leads the distribution of power throughout the state. Because we are looking at a sizable amount over 10 megawatts, a study would be required. We have a group, our energy team is working on looking at, Joe, correct me if I say all this wrong. The first step is looking at potential interconnection points.
Yep.
And then we get in the queue with the New York State ISO. So we are finalizing that interconnection report, which I will share when we have that, and then we get in the queue with the ISO to determine ultimately how much capacity we can provide at that site over a period of
When
years.
you say in the queue, what do you mean exactly?
So my understanding is the ISO gets these applications on a rolling basis, I think now, or they cluster them, I
Yeah.
think, and then they take, yeah, then based on need, and they will, so you get in the queue for review by the New York State ISO. It's the terms that
It's
they.
good that she's doing this now because all guns are gonna be pointed towards that Micron thing once, cause they got their money now, so most of the resources are gonna be going that way, so Stacy is just ahead of the curve here, which is good.
Does that take quite some time for them to get around to
They
this?
say it can be up to, they say it could be up to a 2-year process. Now,
They got-
how that impacts this project, we're not saying we have to wait 2 years. We're saying over a period of 10 or more years, can we hit these certain points of capacity? So
Okay.
there's what's available now, potentially, if we were ready to go, when we have a lot of steps yet to do. So there's that continuum of what's there now and then moving forward and, a potential ramp up
Mhm.
to, maximum capacity. So, we'll have that process underway, which will help us long term. And then there was something, and then I will be meeting, I will be in a meeting with representatives from both NYSEG and Empire State Development, just to address how we get, some smaller sites, all the information we need on power capacity, because it is going to be our number one, our number one need, I think, across the state is understanding power capacity
Yeah.
moving forward. For economic
Yeah,
development.
if I can just comment, Stacy.
Yeah,
Stacy
please.
had the ISO down and they put on an excellent presentation.
Yeah.
At if you were there.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, it was really good, cause they really boiled it down. There's a lot of stuff that goes
Yeah.
on, so that laymen could understand it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you don't have that presentation, I'd recommend.
Yeah,
sending that
I'll
out.
ask Mia, we've been trying
Yeah.
to get a copy of that. I don't know if she was successful in that,
Easy to
but.
follow and it really highlights.
Yeah, I thought it was
what's
very
going on.
interesting. I thought it was a little, very worrying that, when they mentioned that there were companies in the state or maybe they have not come. I can't remember if they're existing or they were thinking about
Mhm.
coming here and they decided against it or they moved away because they couldn't get the electricity that they needed.
Yeah,
That's
I think
scary.
what they look at and they project out their pipeline of projects and they look at capacity right now, the concern is, there's a mismatch of supply and demand, supply for the demand. So that's why doing these kind of comprehensive analyses will help us get a lead on what we can truly develop over time, and be more intentional about who we're targeting as well.
Yeah, what I was also happy to see him mention is, people think there's power, there is, but there's quality of power as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and these high tech things that we're gonna try to lure, I assume, that's gonna be a big factor
Yeah.
to them.
When you say quality, do
Reliability,
you
the
mean like
quality.
the source of it? When you say
No,
quality?
not the source, just is it gonna be steady? Is there little blurps in the transmission and all this? Cause it throws off all this high tech equipment.
Mhm.
And they're very, very, there's no forgiving them.
Well, the sad reality there seems like we're swimming against the tide because the policies in New York State are so destructive, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking nuclear plants offline and there's nothing to replace them. So, yeah, if you're a large business, you're looking at the uncertainty of all this. And you're thinking, there's other states that don't have this craziness.
Yeah.
And they acknowledge, according to Donald Lapardo, that it's crazy, but they're not doing anything to try to fix it.
I think as more people see this report that, Stacy brought to Binghamton and stuff, I think that's gonna have to start to change. So it's a good
Hopefully.
thing what's going on as far as.
Yes, a lot of people don't
informing
realize how
everybody.
crazy
Right,
it is.
Exactly. And this presentation really boiled it down in a simple fashion. So
Yeah.
hopefully they're gonna
I did,
pay
yeah.
attention.
I will,
I hope they're bringing that presentation on the road and getting it
I
out
hope they
there.
present it to the state legislatures, what I hope
Yeah,
they do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I do think they have a regular sort of road show they do, but, I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in policy in the year ahead, when session re-ups in January. Lastly, I just want to note, Amy and I sat in a webinar yesterday. The Empire State Development has created a county infrastructure grant program. It is only available to counties. But it is to support infrastructure projects that support directly or indirectly. Housing is one of the key areas that this can support, and there's no requirement of type of housing. So if you need to bring in infrastructure to support any kind of housing development, all of the traditional infrastructure that municipalities have, water, sewer. So interesting to see. We thought it was, the way it was described, a pretty nimble program. And they're looking to get the money out the door. It's a total of a $50 million pot of funding. And awards can be up to 500,000 or 1 million per county, I think. So one per county. There's a round open right now. The county executive and his team was also on the webinar, but it was good information to
Did you
have.
say this is through New York State?
Yeah, through Empire State Development.
What's the name of the program?
A county infrastructure grant program. They didn't really make it too fancy. They
Yeah.
Kept it. Yeah, so it's good to see it's good to see the state putting a lot more money into these types of.
But what,
Issues.
I'm a little confused about what that can be. I'm interested in this. I'm just
Yeah, I
wondering what-
think, did they share slides?
can they
We'll
use
get
it for?
slides.
They've not sent them
Okay,
yet,
we'll
but
see
they
if we
said they were
can-
gonna share the slides of the recording.
We'll share the slides out there. Yeah.
One question,
Yeah.
on the, student housing project downtown, do you know what their vacancy rate is by any
I
chance?
don't.
I'm
I'll
just
see
curious
if we
what the
can
issue
find
they're
out.
dealing with there.
Yeah, I'll see if we can find out.
Well, I mean, they're obviously in a free fall for some reason.
Yeah, so.
Sounds like it's all of them, right?
Few of them, yeah, the ones that are, it's Shenango Place, which is the old fair store for
Right.
those.
Yeah.
That's how my mom refers to.
Yeah.
And Shenango Empire, which is the print house. Those are the two that are.
We heard from the 50 Front Street guys that they had variable rate loans. They might have gone from a 3% loan when they bought it to
Oh, yeah.
8% or 9% and not been prepared for that.
I don't know, yeah.
That's what's happened now, the rate went.
No, that could be what they're,
Potentially.
current
Oh, right.
market variable rates are 8-9%.
Wow. They may come back again then, throw themselves on the mercy of the ID.
And I will note that the Shenango Place pilot expires this year, so there will be no more pilot benefit on that project after this year. And they are current, Shenango Place is current with the pilot payment. They're just dealing with.
That would be interesting.
Any further questions for Stacy on her updates? Had a chance to review internal financial reports. Any questions for Stacy on those? And the loan activity reports, any question for Natalie on those? New business, item number 6, resolution authorizing a lease and SPAC transaction to facilitate the acquisition, renovation, and equipping of the property and buildings located at 400 Riverside Drive in the Village of Johnson City, Broome County, New York, to be used as a mixed-use development consisting of 67 housing units equipped with fitness, gaming, and recreation centers with surveillance cameras and a key fob access, as well as a restaurant, gymnasium, and outdoor grilling area, which will be open to the public, and appointing Square Deal Partners LLC, the company, agent of the agency for the purpose of acquiring, renovating, and equipping the project to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $355,542. To provide for a mortgage tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $119,000. To provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $4,002,710. Including authorizing a payment in lieu of tax agreement deviating from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy, a copy of which is attached here to as Exhibit A, and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain documents with respect thereto. Mayor, it's come out of governance.
Yes, governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Mike, thank you. Any discussion or questions? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That passes. Item number 7, resolution accepting an application from 1020 VPE LLC and authorizing a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $56,400 for a term not to exceed 12 months, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the construction and equipping of a 3,500 square foot addition to the building located at 1020 Vestal Parkway East in the town of Vestal, county of Broome, state of New York. To house an open MRI ZAPX radio surgical machine, X-ray, together with an elevator for the use of patients. Mayor,
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Jim. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Item number 8. Resolution accepting an application from NSSGP LLC for a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $148,000 for a term not to exceed 1 year, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the acquisition of a ZAPX advanced robotic radiosurgical machine for the treatment of brain tumors to be located at 1020 Vestal Parkway East in the town of Vestal, county of Broome, state of New York, and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any discussion?
No, I think we noted that this is gonna be the only one in New York State and one of 30 in the world, which I
Yeah.
think is impressive.
Wow.
So it's good for, obviously, sure it's gonna pull people into Broome County
Yeah,
Yeah.
in for,
absolutely.
for treatment, so.
We'll work with Dr. Sethi's team to.
They might have to build a hotel next door or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, it's very exciting, yeah.
It's good.
Any further comments? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Item number 9, resolution authorizing the executive director on behalf of the agency to enter into a 6-month option agreement for the sale of 162 Endwell Street, Johnson City, in the town of Union, Broome County, New York, to Andre Hakel for a purchase price of $45,000. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Peter. Any discussion? All those in favor? say
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Item number 10, resolution authorizing the executive director on behalf of the agency to enter into an agreement of sale with Old Dominion Freight Line, Inc. for the sale of 129 Carlin Road in the town of Conklin, Broome County, New York, for a purchase price of $26,000 per acre and to undertake any and all actions necessary to convey title in accordance with the terms of the agreement of sale. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention, Mr. Chairman, they're a good customer of ours.
There you go. Thank you, Joe. Well done, Stace. Very well done.
And I'd like to acknowledge Natalie put a lot of work into this too, so thank you, Natalie, for a lot of great work on that one.
Well done, Nat. Item number 11, resolution accepting an application from State Estate of Vestal LLC and authorizing a New York State and local sales and use tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $37,360 for a term not to exceed 12 months, consistent with the policies of the agency in connection with the renovation, modernization, and equipping of the property and building located at 3401 Vestal Parkway, 3401 Vestal Road, my apologies, and the property located at 3360 Vestal Road in the town of Vestal, county of Broome, state of New York. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Item number 12, resolution accepting an application from Sun Development Team LLC, the company, for a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the renovation and equipping of the property and building located at 214 Main Street in the Village, Johnson City, Broome County, New York, to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $20,000, to provide for a real property tax exemption deviating from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy in an amount not to exceed $122,616, and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Mayor.
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Looking for a motion to go into executive session, is
Yes,
that
we do have
correct?
an item related to contractual arrangements with the IDA.
Okay, I'll move it. Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Thank you, Mike. Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are going into executive session.
Okay.